The first polls have officially closed in the United States. Voting is done in Indiana and Kentucky. In 1 hour, they'll also close in the key states of Florida, Ohio and Georgia. Welcome back to US Election Day Live. We're expecting a dramatic few hours ahead as we wait to find out whether Joe Biden can make Donald Trump a one-term president. Let's go live to Peter Stefanovic in Washington, D.C. Pete, you've been on the ground for quite a while there now in the United States. Peter, what's your sense of the mood of the electorate? We see security across the Capitol and the nation so intense. I guess everyone's on tenterhooks.
I'm getting used to the time zone here. Good evening where you are. Yeah, so it's, I tell you, yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, and we've just had the polls close in the first two states of Kentucky and Indiana. And just to bring the viewers up to speed in Indiana, first of all, before we get to the local scene, there's already 0.02% of the vote that's been counted so far in Indiana, 5,127 to Trump, 1,186 to Biden. So Donald Trump has got 80% of the vote so far in the state of Indiana. It's fairly well considered a lock for Donald Trump. It's worth 8 votes in the Electoral College. Kentucky has also closed now. It's when it comes to polling. There's no counting just yet, so that's going to start pretty soon. Donald Trump can count fairly well on that too. So 11 votes there in Kentucky, 8 votes for Indiana as well. Now, a couple of places that Trump probably can't count on. That's around here, where we are today. So it's the District of Columbia, Virginia, Maryland. It's all fairly well blue around here, so not really banking on it. And that's where I spent a good part of the morning today talking to voters, getting their thoughts on things. And here's what a few of them had to tell me a little bit earlier.
I'll be glad when it's in, you know.
What influenced your decision today?
Oh, everything that's going on.
I feel excited. I feel like in order to incite change, you have to let your voice be heard and you have to vote. So, you know, we have to do our part. You know, so many of our black ancestors died for our rights, and so we have to do our part.
Biden then, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Go Kamala.
I voted for Biden. It's just that neither one of them, I feel as though neither one of them going to do anything for the blacks. But it's just that Biden is a lesser evil. That's why I'm voting for him.
Yeah, now Donald Trump, he's had a low-key day compared to how things have been over the past couple of weeks. He's done, of course, some 40 different campaigning events from state to state, from coast to coast, keeping up his energy very high. Went late into the night last night in Michigan. That's going to be very interesting to see how Michigan turns out. There's 1 more hour to go, mind you, as just a bit of a sidebar here in Florida before things close, and we can get an idea of how things are going there. But he started the day by going to speak to some of his workers at party headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, to thank them for some of the work that they're doing over the past weeks and months. And here's part of what he had to say when he was questioned by reporters there today.
No, I'm not thinking about concession speech or acceptance speech yet. Hopefully we'll be only doing one of those two. And, you know, winning is easy. Losing is never easy. Not for me, it's not.
Well, if he does lose tonight, I know Donald Trump doesn't like losing, but if he does lose tonight, we had Joe Hockey on the show a little bit earlier, and I asked him, well, what happens if Donald Trump doesn't win tonight? He is allowed to run again in 4 years. Would you expect that to happen again? This is what Joe Hockey had to say.
Oh, no doubt he'd run again in 4 years' time. And he'd say in 4 years' time that he was younger than Joe Biden when he lost in 2020.
So he would still run at 78?
Absolutely, of course he would. He's around for a long time. And he's going to be, whether he wins or loses, he's going to be an immensely powerful figure in American politics and global politics, quite frankly. I mean, he has taken total control of the Republican Party and has redefined conservatism, and he won't hesitate if he loses tonight to become a global travelling advocate for Trumpism.
And of course, Donald Trump will be watching things here tonight at the White House, which isn't too far away from where we are. As for Joe Biden, he'll be watching things in his home state of Delaware. He's had a low-key day as well, bearing in mind that he's he's not been as busy over the past few weeks as Donald Trump has been, but he's still had a fair bit on, remembering that he's 77, nearly 78 years of age. He went to church this morning, then he went to see the grave of his late son, Beau, before going to see his family home, his first family home in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where he grew up. And he spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania over the past couple of days, hoping that home state advantage does work for him for those 20 or so votes on the Electoral College. But back in Delaware, he kept his appearances up, speaking to the media about his chances and speaking to some people on the streets too. And here's what he had to say.
Presidents can't determine what votes counted and not counted. And, voters determine who's president. This isn't going to, no matter what he does, no matter what he says, the votes are going to be counted. I'm superstitious about predicting what an outcome is going to be until it happens. That's sort of who I am, how I've always run. And, but I'm hopeful.
Recapping, voting in Indiana is already closed and counting is underway. And so, again, to repeat, Kira, because we don't have many stats out at the moment, so it's nice to talk about something fresh. 5,000 votes to Donald Trump, 1,000 to Joe Biden at this stage. So 0.02% of the votes being counted. So Trump's on his way to his first votes in the Electoral College.